Hey everyone, it's Kara here from Boho Berry, and I'm back with a brand new plan with me for the month of June. Now, I know a lot of you have kind of tuned out for a little while I did a whole month of digital planning here on the channel, and that's okay, to each their own. On the other hand, I've been having a blast, honestly, with the digital planning. It's something I can really see myself doing long term. However, I've really been missing my notebooks and my pens too. So I've tried to think of a solution on how I can use both because I do truly, truly love them both. So I'm going to continue planning in my digital planner the way that I have been, but I'm going to set up a brand new bullet journal to use for basically anything that comes to mind. Collections, creativity, doing some hand lettering, maybe trying out some different techniques. And I think that's really going to give me kind of the best of both worlds because I can do some journaling in here and then still have my planning digitally. But I've really been enjoying my copper Leuchtturm notebook for a really long time now. I started this notebook, let's see, I started this in October of 2017, and I'm almost all the way through this book. You can see I was doing a little practice here with some watercolors, which I'm going to show you very, very soon. But I'm not going to do a full flip through of this notebook. Maybe I'll go through a few pages with you because if I'm going to be 100% honest, this notebook is a little choppy. There's a lot of things that I started and didn't finish, and there's quite a few missing days and missing weeks. It's been kind of a crazy year, and if y'all have been following me for a while, you know that back in October, I really had a rough time. I think I burned myself out. I was working way too hard, and I kind of got to a point where I kind of threw up my hands and I didn't want to do anything. So you'll see that there's some time missing in this bullet journal. But what I really like about it is being able to kind of flip through and see the progression. And when I see kind of a missing page or a week that's not completely filled out, I can look back on that time and kind of remember what was happening in my life at that point. So even though it's incomplete, it's still kind of a record of the time that I spent in this planner. So my hope for my new bullet journal that we're going to start here in a little bit is really just to kind of free myself of some expectations. You can see this gratitude log I didn't finish. And like I was saying, that looking back on it, I can see what was going on in my life and it was a record of my life. And that's true. And looking back on it now, I can kind of have those reflections. But at the time, it was really stressing me out, those times where I wasn't completing a week. Like this week is nice and complete. But whenever I would leave something undone or partially finished, it would just really get me down and it would be hard for me to kind of get back into it. And I really want my new notebook. See, I have a bunch of blank pages here. I really want my new notebook to be a completely different experience for me. I want it to be something that brings me joy when I open it, which this did, but like I was saying with those missing pages and, unfinished weeks and things like that, those are the things that were really bringing me down. So I don't want that to happen in my new bullet journal. So my plan with my new bullet journal, as I flip through the rest of this here for you, even though I said I wasn't going to flip through the whole thing, my plan for my new journal is going to be kind of a go with the flow sort of journal. I'm not really going to have any high expectations of myself with it. Whenever I feel like sitting down and playing with pen and paper, I will do that. Whenever I don't feel like doing that, I'm not going to beat myself up over it. I'm just going to enjoy the process as much as possible and really just have fun with it. I'm going to have no rules for myself in my bullet journal. I am going to feel free to experiment, to play, to have fun. I mean, look at this week. There's nothing on it. And as always, I'll be sharing my process along the way with you all. So I'm just going to get through the last of these pages really quick. You can see this is April. This is where I started designing my digital planner and really playing around with that. So it gets kind of sparse after this. I've got a messed up page here. And then my May that I set up that I didn't even touch for the month of May. And then just some Boho Berry Challenge prompts that I was working on towards the end of the month and kind of playing around in Alien Script. And this is what I'm talking about when I say I want to just be able to open a new page and play and have fun. This is when I really started letting go and said, okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It doesn't even necessarily have to be organized in any certain way. I should just be able to open my bullet journal and enjoy it. So that's what I did, and that's what I've done. And here I was playing around with some watercolors again as well. And that's the very last page, and this is page 175. I'm leaving the rest of this journal blank, which is something I've never done in a bullet journal before. I've always completely filled my books, but I really just feel like I need a fresh start. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. All right, so we are going to officially retire the copper Leuchtturm. And I'm going to say a very fond goodbye to her as I remove her from the cover here. And this notebook, this is me saying goodbye to my journal. I actually do this. This is the first time I've ever done this on video. I do this every time I finish a notebook. I kind of just think back about those times, which we just did. And then I thank it. I thank it for that chapter in my life and being able to put this chapter of my life on a shelf and move forward with a fresh start, but having the record to be able to go back to and appreciate any time that I want because it's sitting on my shelf. All right, so here goes the copper notebook. It's going bye-bye. And in its place, I am bringing in my brand new Emerald Leuchtturm. This notebook is very special to me. If you've been following me for a while, you know that my very first bullet journal was in an Emerald Leuchtturm, 1917, this exact style of notebook. I'm going to put all these stickers in the back here. And I thought that A, we put this Emerald journal in the June Boho Berry box, and B, I thought what better way for a fresh start than to start in the same notebook that I started with to begin with. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to get this put in here. There we go. Let's attach our pen loop. Let's do this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to attach the pen loop right there. And she's now official. I love it. All right. There is nothing, y'all, there's nothing like a brand new notebook. It's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. All right. So normally the first thing I would do when starting a new notebook is go through my old one and decide what I want to migrate over. This time, as I said, I'm trying to make a completely fresh start. So I really just want to kind of let this bullet journal flow as naturally as possible. So since I'm not actually going to be doing any planning in this bullet journal, I'm not going to set up a future log. I'm not going to set up a yearly calendar. I'm not going to set up daily or weekly spreads. The only thing I'm going to set up is a monthly kind of welcome page. So I'm going to flip past my index to the very first page, which is going to be page number 1. I love a new notebook. I almost don't want to do anything to it. Do you ever feel like that? A brand new notebook, you just don't want to mess with it at all. So I'm going to set up my cover page for June. And to do that, I'm going to be doing a little bit of watercoloring. And I'm going to be using one of my favorite new tools for watercoloring, which is watercolor pencils. I got this 36 color set. They're Pentel watercolor pencils. And what I like about it is I can kind of lay the color on the way that I want and then add water and kind of see what happens to it. So I'm going to grab out just a few different colors here. All right, so I picked 8 colors. I have 4 that are kind of bluish greenish and then 4 that are kind of pinkish purplish. I also have a regular pencil. This is a Palomino Blackwing Pearl. I really like these pencils. It's a really nice light graphite. And then last but definitely not least, I'm going to be using a water brush. This is by Pentel as well. It's an Aquash water brush. I think this is the really fine point, and it's just a really easy way to watercolor. So I don't have to have a separate glass of water and a different paintbrush. I just fill this little receptacle up with water, screw that on, and what's cool is I can really control how much water goes onto the page, which is really important in the Leuchtturm and in most regular writing notebooks especially, because you don't want too much water on the page or else it's going to buckle up. And then I do have one more tool, if you want to call it that. That's a paper towel, just in case I need to clean my brush a little bit, or if I accidentally get too much water on the paper, I can fix that. All right, so I'm going to pop on a little music and I'm going to get to designing a little pattern across the page and create my title. All right, so I officially have all of the color down on the page, and my pattern ended up being a little off center. I'm okay with that. I'm just gonna let it go. Kind of a theme here for this new bullet journal. Now I'm just gonna come in with my Aquash water brush, and just gently kind of lay down some color. Now I want to make sure that this is not super wet because like I said, the more water that goes in your Leuchtturm, the more it's going to have the possibility of buckling up. So I like to make sure that it's just slightly wet, and make sure you're not squeezing this tube as you brush. And you are always going to get a tiny bit of buckling, but it's not going to be nearly as much if you just put down a light amount of water. And when I was kind of going through this, and I kind of like the colors kind of blending over when I do this too, so I don't worry about cleaning off my brush as long as I'm still in the same color family. But one thing you may have noticed as I was drawing is that I was really not careful at all about coloring in with my color pencil. I was just kind of scribbling all over the place. And I like doing that because it kind of gives this different effect where you have some heavier areas and some lighter areas. And I really like it. All right, so let's zoom this back up. All right, so now that all of the blue-green colors are done, I'm just gonna kind of push a little bit of water through the tip of my brush and kind of clean it off a little bit on my napkin, just so I'm not moving any of that blue color over to my reds. All right, so there we are, and I'm just cleaning off my brush again one more time so I can put her away. And I'm gonna let this dry for just a couple of seconds, and then through the magic of editing, I will begin writing the month of June. And of course, while I was waiting for this to dry, I decided that I wanted to try a completely different approach. So I'm gonna get rid of this June in the middle. All right, and this is me trying something completely new. I have not tried this yet. So it could go great, or it could be a disaster. We're gonna find out. I am just gonna scribble because I want this to be behind June. And again, I'm just not really being careful with this at all. I'm just getting the general shape that I want. All right. I'm always nervous doing new things on camera when I haven't done them before. We're just gonna try to blend this out so it's a nice, like, pretty. I just don't want too much water on here, so I'm gonna go pretty quickly, actually. Oh boy, it's not turning out how I planned, and I'm getting way too much water on the page. All right. I'm going to say that's good enough. I scribbled a little too hard, I think, here on the edges. I can't get that up. All right, let me take my paper towel and just kind of blot this to kind of dry off some of that excess water, hopefully. All right, so we are just going to have a slightly buckled page, and that's okay. All right, so now I'm going to let that dry. And all right, y'all, so I kind of forgot to hit record after the paper dried. So I'm going to show you what I did. I actually used one of these new Pigeon Letters Monoline drawing pens. Peggy actually sent this to me. They're super, super cute. She sent me an adorable little note. It says, "Hello, Kara. I wanted you to be among the first to receive some of my brand new pens. I figure they'll do a bullet journal good. Hope you love them, Peggy." I love her so, so much. Y'all know that I rave about her all the time. But these pens came in a 3-pack. They're called Monoline Studio Pens by Pigeon Letters. They're archival ink. And archival quality pens are fade resistant, waterproof, acid free, and quick drying, making them ideal for professional artistry. So I'm assuming that this means that I can draw with these and then watercolor over the top, which is really, really cool. But they come in 01, which is a really fine line, 03, which is what I typically write with in my journals, and 05. Comparing them to the Tombow Mono Drawing Pen, they seem to be very, very similar, except I don't think that the Mono pen is waterproof. So really, really like these, Peggy. You did a great job. Oh, and she sent me this cute little pen case with her botanical line drawing on there, which I think is absolutely adorable. So I wrote out the month of June. I used the 05, and I think I want to do a little quote down here, or maybe at the top. I'm going to say, "Creativity takes courage." And this is probably not going to be well centered because I'm just going for it. But here we go. It's really hard to write on buckly paper. It's relatively centered. Creativity takes courage. And then I want to play around a little bit more and kind of test something I haven't tested, and that is my Arrow washi tape. This came in the June Boho Berry box, and I'm going to have some of it available in the shop on June 1st. But let's see, how many arrows can I fit? Maybe 2? Which ones do I want to fit? See, this is where this washi tape gets tricky because I want to use these other specific arrows. All right, so I'm going to do these 2. And we're going to see if we can watercolor these. I bet we can. Because we can color on them. So why not watercolor on them? Let's find out. I think I'm going to go with kind of a purpley color on this one. And again, I'm just being really rough. And then, of course, my little teal. All right, moment of truth. Here we go. Ooh, it's working. The question is this going to dry? That's, or am I just going to end up with a smeared mess? All right, so I'm just kind of making this super messy, and I'm actually adding a little bit more water than I did on the paper because it's not on the paper. Add some little splotches of color elsewhere. All right, moment of truth. We're gonna let this dry real quick and see if it dries. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Some parts are still a little wet, but the parts that are dry, they are not smearing. Y'all, you can watercolor on this washi tape. I'm so excited. I'm going to be doing that so much. Okay, I know this has been a super long video, so I'm going to start wrapping this up. I do want to say to everyone out there, thank you for your patience with me while I've been on kind of this crazy journey testing out digital planning and trying to find a good balance between my love for pen and paper and my brand new passion for digital planning. I am going to have a lot more pen and paper videos for you all very soon, including finally finishing that fountain pen series. So thanks for bearing with me during the month of May. I hope you enjoyed this little June setup, and I look forward to kind of seeing where this journey takes me, and I'm so happy to have you along the ride with me. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your Saturday, and I will look forward to seeing y'all very soon. Bye.